maybe if we pass some more relics, we'll raise them and see what they got for them. I'm going to try and avoid doing too many of the side quests in this game. It's not a lot, but there are some, just because they're not as entertaining as other stuff. But I'm going to try and get all of these, tell the tales. Do that.
The first ones spent their days feeding from Madronol, the teated tree of drinking. They suckled from her bark a thick nectar that flowed up from her roots, which penetrated the ground so deeply they reached even into the untouched place.
Yeah!
There, a beautiful being named Etulia sang to the roots of Madronol, and the tree turned her song into nourishment for the ungrateful creatures above. One day, the greediest of them sneaked into her sanctuary and trapped Etulia in a cage, forcing her to sing only for him. That is how he gained unlimited power over all creatures and became their first and most terrible king.
So for those mythology buffs out there, you may have noticed there's a bunch of parallels in this origin story with the Viking things. The Great World Tree problem. It's the idea that a tree kind of would sustain the world and the tree holds the world together and all that. Which is not mistaken that interpretation. Vikings and metal have a weird relationship. I'm not saying Vikings invented metal, but they're a weird culture that's just loved by the majority of the metal world and a bunch of metal bands. There's a bunch of bands out there that have a song or two about Vikings, or like about the ice and snow or something like that. And there's a couple bands out there that are just called Viking metal bands. My favorite, which is a band called Amon Amarth, that their big claim to fame is a bunch of their stuff is just songs retelling Viking lore. Like it's a mythology lesson in epic music style, which is nuts and not for everyone again, but still fun, and it's interesting, it's different. I'm a fan. So again, we got all these cool look at the view. This is part reference to Valkyries, part reference to Ladies of Metal. Again, another half metal, half Viking reference. For those who think of metal as a purely male-dominated industry, it's not. There have been quite a few pretty famous metal bands out there that were exclusively women. There's a bunch of fairly famous, in the metal world, female singers of metal. The lady from Arch Enemy, both of them actually, they changed recently. There's a lady from OTEP who is probably certifiably insane, but interesting nonetheless, and a fantastically talented singer. There's the Agonist, there's a band called Kitty that the entire band was female. I don't know if they exist anymore. If they don't, that's a real shame. They were a fantastic band when they were around. Yeah, it's not just a sausage fest of an industry, thank God.
Feeling it?
Did I raise that one or no? Okay, so yeah, whatever. Yeah, so I mentioned the truss trees earlier. These are the truss trees. For those who don't know what truss is the material you build concert stages out. They're the aluminum.
With the devil's thorns again.
That's the right word for them. Go up. The aluminum metal structural members you can use to make mobile stages and handcraft them.
My old songs.
They're real useful. I worked them a bunch in the past. I used to do the roadie stuff. They're lightweight. They're strong. I'm not sure why I'm telling you people about truss, but they're a real iconic part of the metal world and music in general, for that matter, because it allows you to have the big mobile concerts we all love so much.
These things really liven up a dull corner.
promise that's not good. Unless that's a tab I don't have yet. No, it's not. Alright, on to the next mission. I'm gonna get Face Melter first. Sorry, I lied. I'm not... One of the spells in the game is really powerful. It's called Face Melter. It's one of the few offensive spells Eddie gets. I keep calling it spells. They're solos. They're badass solos. I don't know how the Deuce got over that. Check this out. Because they are that goddamn cool in my book. Pretty freaking cool, huh? Giant rock guitar solo hand. Off in the background you have Lion White's palace, which despite being evil as hell, still pretty badass with the chains to the sky. Literally chains floating into the sky. You can't see the end of them even, that's how ridiculous.
Sorry, just needed to get your attention.
I raised this room. Yeah, so after the spark plug bug. The spark plug bug, it's a thing if you ramp your car through over a ramp enough, you can hit, they fix your car, and you get fire tributes for it. I'll explain fire tributes later, or the game actually will. They're the one thing that confuses me the most. I think it's just a car reference at that point. It's a neat one, it's a fun one. I don't know a lot of metal singers out there, metal bands that started off as mechanics. I know they've occasionally embraced the mechanic look, but more story for you guys. Follow the fire beast.
The king used the song of Etulia to lure the fire beast Ormagodon to the ground, where the first ones trapped him and tried to douse his flaming body with mud. Rather than be extinguished, the mighty fire beast let out an earth-shattering scream and exploded like a sun. 1,000,000 pieces of his steel flesh shot into the ground, veining it with ore. His fire flew up into the sky and became the sun. There was so much blood it flooded the world, drowning all the first ones as it formed the oceans. His death cry was so loud that it echoes throughout the world to this day. Low creatures felled the god Ormagodon, but his death gave the world the elements from which a new era would rise. Blood, fire, noise, and metal.
Yeah, screw your wind, earth, water, and fire. That's what you need. Blood, noise, metal. I forgot one important one there. But whatever, you just saw the video. Correctly, face melt. Somewhere out here we go. I gotta admit, just driving around this game's fun because it's so interesting to look at. Even if you're not a metal fan, it's an inventive-looking game. And I wish more games would take risks when it came to the art direction. Just kind of do something fun and different every once in a while. It's an adventure game, obviously it's a bit medieval in its origins, yes, but it's still fun and different. Like, when's the last time you saw naturally occurring for my speak today, road signs? Fuck you. Alright, so we got another one of these viewies. Check it out. This one's gold. I don't remember this one. Pretty fucking cool, right? All of these art pieces are references to famous concert albums of some kind, or albums that Tim Schafer, the guy who made the game, liked a lot. I don't know them off the top of my head. Maybe I'll add them to the video as text overlays or something like that. If I don't, sorry, you can look them up on your own. I'm sure there's a wiki out there for them. Hit the bounce around.
I love cars. Hey, you can't be the hands on the
You're welcome.
Yep, there's Face Melter. Now I'm sure some of you are trying to why the hell I cared so much about Face Melter, and hopefully, yep, you'll get to see why.
keeping this land
I hope it's a
safe.
good one.
Alright, so some of you may not even know what a Face Melter is. I think it's a pretty common term, but it might not be. I never know these.
I can't wait to try that out.
So, what's a Face Melter? It is a song that's such an awesome riff in it that this happens. It melts your face clear fucking off your body. No, it doesn't actually do that. A good example of this is Van Halen's Eruption. It's just one amazing guitar center. Now to the main story. So there's a term in theater and music, for that matter, called finding your light. And I can only assume that someone thought they were being really clever, and they were, by making the... Here's where your next adjective system is, the lights. Because I know a phrase we used to yell at people a bunch back when I was doing this stuff. Find your goddamn light! It's the concept is... You have predesignated zones where the actors or performers are supposed to stand so they actually look good and can be seen by the audience and stuff like that. And they're always terrible at it. Admittedly, musicians are a lot better at it because, well, egos are different. But it's always a constant battle that gets old after a little while. And, okay, sorry about that. I thought that was another one of the origin stories to show you guys. And that was... definitely was pretty. To be fair, it's also a weird half eagle, half man thing with a axe and guitar, so that's pretty badass on itself. What these things also do is, we'll get to it eventually, you unlock a radio from the car, which will do a lot more interesting for you guys during the sections where I'm not talking.
Man, I hope it's a good one.
And every single time you erase one of those things, they give you more music to listen to. Again, I'm betting a bunch of this music in your guys' styles just because, again, metal, but it's good music, and they did a fantastic job selecting it for this game. And there's some good cues that will pop up later that I'll talk about when they do. And some of the bands aren't even bands I personally enjoy, but in context of the game, it's a lot of fun having them. And the fact they could pull it off is just not heartwarming, because it's kind of sad to say about them. But it's nice they were capable of getting it to pull it.
I see you guys have already met Lars and Lita, and, Ophelia?
Where's Olofs anyway? Uh-oh.
Someone's not doing so well. A little bloody.
Ophelia!
Stage slide!
Oh no. You didn't try to free the girls too, did you?
No, they're already free.
We have to take her to the Killmaster.
Lars, no. Lion White knows about us now. We need to lay low.
Out of my way.
You have to stop him. Please.
Stop him? I'm gonna give him a lift.
man, being able to summon a car as opposed to having to find one in a parking lot, so fucking cool. Fuck you, glam rockers.
We're on patrol!
Oh look, I didn't get earlier. So obviously the game's supposed to make you feel like it's urgent, but you can take time to enjoy the small things. Like origin stories. And lore.
From the oceans of blood came new life, the worst of which was the tainted coil. With the twisted forms of the first ones, but the angry power of Armageddon, they were hated, feared, and almost exterminated. Instead, they were saved by a majestic race of titans who inherited the strength and size of the fire beast and the purity and beauty of Etulia. They took pity on the small creatures and adopted them as pets. They hid their deformities with severe restrictive garments, and the coil endured the pain because, more than anything else, they wanted to look exactly like their beloved, merciful masters.
Okay, so as you can see, that there are literally giant metal Vikings. The giant metal Vikings are the new gods, for lack of a better phrase, of this world. And so the demons we were fighting earlier, or the demons that showed up briefly, those are the coil. Those are the tainted ones that are so ugly the Viking gods literally force them to wear S&M gear to hide their deformities. And it hurts. Like the video just said that it hurts. So again, I'm not saying metal and BDSM go hand in hand, but there's a link every once in a while, especially as far as this game is concerned. Alright, so